Council of State meets, backs Naira redesign policy and seeks availability of more notes.
That the CBN governor should look into making sure that money is available, the new money is available in quantum.
2023 elections, stakeholders perfect plans for peaceful and credible process.
For that, we are assuring the country, the Ministry of Defense and the Armed Forces are standing behind the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure that a peaceful election takes place.
Outbreak of measles and meningitis. Kogi State commences vaccination of vulnerable children as Northern traditional rulers meet over polio. Hello and welcome to the Network News. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Adiola Komiakere joins us from Lagos. Why not just start clicking now? Follow this newscast live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now on Twitter, as well as other social media platforms displayed on the screen. A crucial meeting of the Council of State has ended in Abuja, with members throwing their weight behind the Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Council, however, made a strong case for aggressive measures by the Apex Bank to make available more Naira notes in circulation towards easing the prevailing economic tension across the land. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The hybrid Council of State meeting was summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari to enable him accommodate a wide range of opinions and suggestions from the major stakeholders in the polity to take informed decisions on the major issues of interest to Nigerians. Amongst those in attendance were 4 former Nigerian leaders, Generals Yakubu Gawan, Abdusalami Abubakar, and Olusegun Obasanjo, as well as Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, was on hand to brief members on the implementation of the Naira redesign policy, after which elaborate discussions and deliberations were made, opinions expressed, and pieces of advice given.
But generally, the views across board is that principally the policy is accepted. Just like any new policy or any new change, at the beginning, people resist it, even though it's good. But generally, it's accepted. But the major issue across board, from all the states and most of the speakers, is that of implementation. And so many views were proffered, particularly that the CBN governor should look into making sure that money is available, the new money is available in quantum. And there were suggestions too that if the new money is not in circulation or printing them could be difficult, the old money that hasn't been changed could be recirculated and pumped into circulation to ease the tension, particularly for the poor people in our society.
The Council of State was also briefed by INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu and the Inspector General of Police Usman Al-Kali Baba on preparations for the conduct of the 2023 elections.
The chairman of INEC has given assurances that everything that needs to be done to have the election at the set date are on track, and they thank both the executive and the legislature for supporting them, and they're ready, to do everything possible for us to have an each-free election on the 25th and on March the 11th. And similarly as well, the Inspector General of Police, working with them, also gave further assurance that they are also ready, they are equipped, and they will give the INEC all of the support that they require to make the election worth the while for all Nigerians to be able to participate in.
The 2 major resolutions that were driven arising from the deliberations of the Council are: one, that we are on course as far as election is concerned, and we are happy with the level of preparation by INEC and the institutions. And then 2, relating to the Naira redesign policy, the policy stands, but then the Council agreed that there is need for aggressive action on the part of the central bank by way of ensuring adequate provision being made with particular regard to the supply of the Naira in the system.
President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to take informed decisions on all the suggestions and pieces of advice given by the council members in the coming days. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate Hamid Lawan has expressed conviction that President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to finding lasting solutions to the cash crunch and lingering fuel crisis in parts of the country in the coming days. The Senate President stated this while speaking to newsmen shortly after he and the House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila met President Muhammadu Buhari behind closed doors. The presiding officers of the National Assembly briefed the President on the resolutions of the 2 chambers regarding the implementation of the Naira redesigned policy.
It's a known fact to everyone how life has been so difficult for a majority of Nigerians, especially the most ordinary Nigerians across the country. And we felt that whatever it is worth, this is the time to take a decision to ease the problems Nigerians are facing with respect to this. And I believe that we will triumph at the end of the day. President Muhammadu Buhari is known to be the masses president, the masses man. And I want to assure everyone that this crisis, if I may call it so, will come to an end by the grace of God in the next few days. This policy in the first place is not a bad policy, but we also feel that there is no need for any time limit. Allow the old and the new to coexist until the old is phased out. But what will make it quick is for us to have more and more and more of the new currency. And then they coexist with the old ones until the old ones die a natural death.
It's the end of another working week, and our business correspondent, Bosede Abel, again was on the streets to feel the pulse of the public on issues surrounding the redesigned Naira notes.
The surging crowd at ATM terminals and banks remain. Some for new Naira notes, others in preparation for the cashless policy, while some to address failed transactions. Then the Supreme Court ruling not to end the use of the old Naira notes February 10.
If they don't follow it, that means that we don't obey, we are not democratic.
Yes, I believe so, because in as much as the new Naira is being scarce, it's not too common in the public, I think the whole Naira note should also be in circulation.
Let the federal government do what they are supposed to do to vacate the order, because I know any policy that is initiated by the central bank is a policy that will make the economy to grow.
The policy is okay, but we also want CBN to also do the needful by supervising the banks, by making sure that the banks do the needful.
For the fact that we are not finding it easy, even to cash in money and take care of our families, I think there is a good intention behind this.
Meanwhile, some commercial bank officials who do not wish to be mentioned say they are yet to get directive from the CBN on the Supreme Court order. The court's order is for 7 days, but all eyes are on February 15, 2023, when the Supreme Court will begin hearing on the matter. In Abuja, Bosede Abel, NTA News.
As part of efforts to surmount challenges of circulating the redesigned Naira notes in hinterlands, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Ilorin branch, is monitoring activities of microfinance banks that are driving its cash swap initiative in Ofa, Kwara State. The CBN monitoring team was also at the palace of the Olofa of Ofa, Oba Muftau Badamosi, to solicit his support. Kendi Omolosho reports.
First port of call was the palace of the Olofa of Ofa, Oba Mufta Ogbadamasi, where the Director of Consumer Protection, Rashida Mungunu, the CBN, she says, is aware of the challenges of circulation of the redesigned Naira notes. As such, the cash swap initiative to ensure people in the rural areas without bank accounts exchange their old notes.
Have a positive attitude and be confident that the Naira redesign policy is not to punish anybody. It's a good policy, it's good for the country. It is what we should do so that we make your Naira more secure.
Olofa of Ofa, Oba Mufta Ogbadamasi Eshuwaye II, commended the CBN for redesigning the Naira notes. He wants the Apex Bank to find a lasting solution to the scarcity.
The idea now is for us to be spending both old and new until further notice.
Away from the palace of the Olofa, the CBN team monitored activities at 2 microfinance banks where it was gathered that customers were swapping their old notes for new ones.
The stress and pressure we undergo here in Ofa in changing new notes has been really, really difficult. But
it has not been easy. For the past 2 weeks now, I've been suffering how to get my old notes swapped to new notes.
People's appeal to the central bank is to ensure more new notes are available at the banks for more people to swap their old notes. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
Similarly, officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria Jalingo branch took sensitization on the new financial policy and cash swap initiative of the Apex Bank to famous Iwari and Sunkani cattle markets in Taraba State. Ben Hania reports that the team was also at Taraba State University, Jalingo, on similar mission.
In the past few weeks, officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Jalingo branch, have been going around Taraba State to create awareness over the cash swap policy introduced by the Apex Bank. This time around, the delegation, led by Director, Financial Strategy, Ibrahim Hassan, was at Iwari Cattle Market, which is described as one of the largest cattle markets in Nigeria. Ironically, Iwari community does not have a financial institution. Like Iwari, Sunkani, the headquarters of Aldokola local government area, lacks financial institutions. This necessitated opening of accounts for locals and establishment of cash swap agents by the CBN officials to enable the beneficiaries access the new notes in this community.
To come, sensitize the leaders of the market and general members of the public as to the new redesigned Naira notes, let them know the benefits of doing it and also expose them to alternative means of transacting business.
Similarly, the delegation was at Taraba State University, Jalingo, to sensitize its management on the benefits of e-Naira and digital economy. In Jalingo, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
And out to climate matters, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved a comprehensive work plan for the newly established National Council on Climate Change. The President also approved that the nation's energy transition plan be absorbed by the Council towards ensuring continuity and sustainability of the initiative in accordance with the Climate Change Act 2021. This was while presiding over the inaugural meeting of the Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu brings us details.
Inaugurated in September last year, with the President as chairman, the National Council on Climate Change has, amongst other responsibilities, formulating appropriate policies towards achieving green growth and sustainable economic development for Nigeria. This meeting, in line with the objectives of the Act, is also in tandem with Nigeria's commitment to COP26 in Glasgow and Sharm el-Sheikh's COP27.
I commend the management with their dedication to work and hope that the team put in place today for takeover of the Secretariat will bring up the National Climate Action Plan that will provide sustainable framework for all climate-related activities in Nigeria and also provide assurance tool for engagement with the global community.
And in response to the request by the Council's Secretary and Director General, President Buhari approved a number of measures aimed at ensuring a smooth takeoff and operationalization of the critical organ.
We are stepping up commitments and have agreed to the general terms of the intent of the memorandum on the need to operationalize the Council.
Both the Minister of Environment and Director General of the Council, who presented the first memorandum on Nigeria's response to climate change, described the unflinching support of the President and commitment of Nigeria to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change as fulfilling and reassuring.
Nigeria is set to take the lead on climate change issues, biodiversity, and wildlife conservation and energy transition plan implementation in Africa. We thank you very immensely, Your Excellency.
The number of in-country federal institutions are willing and intending to retrofit their programs and actions to align with the visions of the NDCs and the net zero target that Nigeria has pledged.
The Council has developed a proposed institutional organogram for effective implementation of its mandates. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
You're watching the network news on NTA. Let's take some messages. The news continues shortly. You're still watching the network news on NTA. President Muhammadu Buhari this Friday played host to his counterpart from Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoko Embalo. President Embalo is the current chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. He's in Abuja on a private visit. The two leaders met behind closed doors for about 1 hour, but details of discussions were not disclosed. President Embalo maintained close relations with the Nigerian leader since coming to power in January 2020. At various times, he attributed his success at the polls and in governance to the enormous support and assistance by President Muhammadu Buhari. And as a mark of honor and appreciation, Guinea-Bissau recently conferred on the Nigerian leader its highest national honors. This is an appreciation of a significant leadership role and enormous contributions to peace, security, stability and democratic governance in that country in the West African sub-region. Our major road network was also named after him in the capital, Bissau. In other news, the police in Ogun State has paraded 5 suspects in connection with the killing of a central bank staff, Kehinde Fatinoye, his wife Bukola, and their son, Oreoluwa. The police named the family driver, Lekon Adekombi, as the prime suspect. Yemi Dalimo reports.
Parading the suspects before newsmen, the police public relations officer in Ogun State, Abimbola Oyemi, says the prime suspect, Lekon Adekombi, and others confess to the crime and have no justification for their action.
The two teams, in compliance with the CP's directive, embarked on technical and intelligence-driven investigation and traced the movement of the suspect to his elder brother in Iseyin, Oyo State, but he had left the place before the arrival of the police. The teams further intensified their efforts, which yielded positive results when Lekon Adekombi was apprehended in his hideout somewhere in Abuja.
The suspect alleged that his boss refused to increase his salary.
I decided to tell him that, sir, this job is too much for me to do because you don't add money to my account, to my money. So you are paying me 25,000 naira, and the money is not enough for me to feed myself and my family. I cannot manage this money. Please, sir, if you can borrow me, if you can add my money to my salary, please, sir, give me money, borrow me money from my money 1 year or 6 months, so I will use the money to invest.
The command assured the public that the law will take its course and the suspect brought to book. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NT News.
To elections and security, the Ministry of Defense has upscaled activities in the armed forces towards supporting INEC and relevant agencies to ensure a secured 2023 general elections. This was highlighted during a media interactive session with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense.
For that, we are assuring the country that the Ministry of Defense and the Armed Forces are standing behind the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure that a peaceful election takes place with a peaceful handing over by May 29, 2023.
Lally, the federal government has provided several platforms for all the services to further secure the nation's land, sea and air domains.
One of the areas the government is focusing on is the Gulf of Guinea, the maritime domain, which we believe in the future it is one of the major sources of revenue for Nigeria. If you look at some countries that are actually surrounded by water, they survive purely from the maritime. Why is Nigeria not making good use of the maritime? What people choose to call the blue economy.
The Ministry of Defense is reassuring Nigerians of their safety as security agencies are working strategically to fight crimes. And the United Nations is committed to ensuring peaceful, credible and inclusive elections in the nation. Resident Coordinator Matthias Schmal gave the assurance when he met leaders of political parties in Abuja at Debola Brooksland Sunday reports.
In less than 3 weeks, Nigerians will elect new leaders that will pilot the affairs of the country. This roundtable between the United Nations, members of the diplomatic community, and leaders of political parties is to discuss plans to achieve the sustainable development goals in Nigeria.
All parties beyond the elections, because
the resident coordinator, Matthias Schmal, underscored the importance of peaceful and credible elections.
We can continue dialogue with you post the elections. Obviously, we will reach out to the new president and government to specifically ensure that we have a common understanding beyond this government with the next government on what to do.
The forum commended INEC for significant progress ahead of the 2023 general elections.
Well, there's no solution elsewhere. We all have to sit here, disagree, agree, and rebuild our country.
Domestic resource mobilization and conducive business environments were listed among the needed transformative initiatives to fast-track the actualization of the sustainable development goals in the country. At Debola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
The Sangaya Islamic school system will be further enhanced through the provision of entrepreneurship skills to students in order to reduce poverty and redundancy among the youth in Yobe State. This is among campaign promises by the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi during a visit to the palace of Emir of Damaturu Shehu Hashimi II Ibn El-Kanemi. Mustafa Yusuf reports.
As the 2023 presidential election draws closer, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi was in Yobe State to canvass support from the electorate in his bid to secure the country's #1 job. At the palace of the Emir of Damaturu, Peter Obi and his running mate Yusuf Ahmed Datti took time to x-ray the agenda to transform Nigeria, also giving emphasis on their plan to fast-track agriculture with a view to placing Yobe State in the global map of food and livestock production.
Support we're going to attract to be able to build where there's massive agricultural revolution, which will lead to industrialization, and for export, which will be a win-win for everybody and pull people out of poverty. And that is our commitment.
The Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi is the third among the 18 presidential candidates to visit Yobe State since the commencement of campaigns in September last year. In Damaturu, Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party at its 56th meeting approved the expulsion of the former governor of Enugu State, Senator Chimaroke Nnamani, and 6 others from the party for anti-party activities and other grave offences in violation of the constitution of the party. The party in a statement says the 6 others expelled from the party include Chris Ogbo from Imo State, Ajijola Latif Oladimeji, Olayinka James, Ola Leary, Fayoshe, Oluwa Jomiloju John, Akerele Oluyinka, and Emiola Adenike Jennifer, all from Ekiti State. The expulsion takes effect from February 10, 2023. In a swift reaction, Senator Nnamani says the NWC has no power to suspend or expel him from the party, emphasizing that due process was not followed. In a letter through his counsel, Olusegun Jola Awo SCN states that it's only the National Executive Committee that has the power. Now, as political parties intensify efforts to woo the electorate in the forthcoming general elections, FCT Minister of State Ramatu Tijani Aliu has described the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the vanguard of women empowerment. This was at the Train the Trainer Summit organized by the Nigeria Women Unite for Tinubu Shatima, held at the International Conference Center, Abuja. Ifeanyi Izumba reports.
The Minister of State FCT, Ramatu Tijani Aliu, affirmed that the support given to wife of APC presidential candidate Senator Oluremi Tinubu is a demonstration of Asiwaju's commitment to giving political space to women.
Nigerian women that are resolute from all walks of life to stand solidly behind the candidature of the great APC. That is the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Kashim Shatima ticket.
Wife of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, speaks on her husband's commitment.
And 35% affirmative action. I support it, but only with a condition. There are some women who have done well in government.
She further promised to restore the Fund Family Support Program as well as enhance child nutrition, among others. Ifeanyi Izumba, NTA News.
And it's time to head to Lagos, where Adeola is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Adeola.
Hello, Elizabeth. The federal government will continue to evolve measures targeted at promoting enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and lead the way in job creation for the nation's teeming population. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this at an event in Lagos, and Abolade Salami will tell us all about it.
With the federal government's social intervention programs touching lives and bettering entrepreneurs in various sectors, many believe the country's unemployment challenge is receiving attention. But more heartwarming for Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed is the global niche in music and creative industry being created by Nigerian youths. A development, it says, reflects their resilience and commitment to hard work.
I've always said that the creative industry is Nigeria's new oil. As a matter of fact, this industry has the potential to be bigger than crude oil, and Nigeria has the resource to make it so, which is the creativity of our people. Today, Nigeria has taken the world by storm, be it in music, movies, theater, fashion, literature.
While enumerating efforts of the federal government to support the creative industry and exceptional individuals that have carved a niche for themselves in the industry, the minister was quick to point out areas the private sector can collaborate with relevant government parastatals under the Ministry of Information and Culture for national development.
We are very keen to expand the opportunities available to our youths through training. I'm therefore happy to announce that we are currently working with the United Nations World Tourism Organization and some private sector players to establish a UNWTO Tourism Academy in Nigeria.
The gathering afforded the minister opportunity to interact with youths who are graduating after a 6-week training in script writing, lighting, sound effects, animation, and basic production. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
With 15 days to the presidential election, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has launched 10,000 foot soldiers to canvass votes on house-to-house basis across the metropolis. Musa Toliat reports that the All Progressives Congress also received members of opposition parties into its fold at the event in Lagos.
All Progressives Congress foot soldiers were drawn from various parts of the Lagos metropolis. One of the major focus of the event is to educate them on voting process and what it takes to canvass votes from house to house for the election of presidential candidates of APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as the election of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
The time and resources wasted on rallies cannot give you the value you will derive. If you compartmentalize into cells and you address those cells one by one all over the whole place, that, of course, is one thing that we need to do.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu emphasized that the canvassers should let the electorate know that only the logo of the party will be displayed on ballot papers and not the names of candidates.
We cannot but keep our rightful position. And our position is that we are going to deliver the largest number for our presidential candidate.
High point of the event was the endorsement of APC presidential candidate and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu by coalition of the opposition parties in Lagos.
We, the coalition of political parties in Lagos State, COPIS, endorse Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for president.
The convener of the event and Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, urged the canvassers to go back and educate other party canvassers in their polling units on the do's and don'ts during the election.
Our path to victory are our votes. Move everybody out. Tell them some of the reasons why what I have told you today as a reason to allow APC to continue.
The Eko Nibaje 10,000 Foot Soldiers is an initiative by the Directorate of Election Planning and Monitoring of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
You're still watching the news on the network service of the NTA. The network news will continue after this break. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media.
Let's talk health. Paramount rulers in northern Nigeria are recommitting to improving health indicators in the region through mass mobilization and community engagements to boost population immunity and eradicate poliovirus. Ibrahim Dan Hamidu reports on the first quarter review meeting held in Abuja.
Available statistics from health experts in Nigeria indicate that the northern region is still threatened by pockets of diseases in densely populated areas where children and women need to be immunized. This significant portion of the population also includes migrants exposed to a wide range of diseases. This formed part of the agenda for the first quarter review meeting on primary healthcare delivery in Abuja.
We shall also very soon be trying the malaria vaccine. Nigeria has applied to receive the malaria vaccine, and that will also be introduced.
With a view to assess progress made, challenges faced, share good practices, and exchange ideas with oversight agency officials and development partners.
To set the ball rolling, a committee of northern elders with membership from the 19 states and foreign partners has been set up to explore the existing system of coordination and community governance.
I congratulate the government of Nigeria for sustaining the status of zero-wild poliovirus in the country since it was last reported in 2016.
The health of children is and always has been a top priority for UNICEF. Immunizing against vaccine-preventable diseases.
The target of interruption of variant poliovirus is the end of 2023, and we, together with partners and government and you all, want to do everything we can to achieve that target.
Traditional leaders in Nigeria are credited with the successes of some other health interventions in the country. In Abuja, Ibrahim Hamidu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Kogi State Ministry of Health and the State Ministry of Healthcare Development Agency have kick-started the immunization of children between the ages of 9 months to 10 against measles and meningitis in the state. Francis Udojo reports that the 8-day campaign flagged off in Echa Omala local government area is to mobilize stakeholders towards achieving total eradication of the life-threatening diseases in Kogi State.
The teardrops from the needle pain is for the moment, but the benefits of the immunization are enormous and life-saving. The World Health Organization statistics indicate that since December 2022, Nigeria had reported 2,996 cases of meningitis across 16 states. Sadly, 336 Nigerians out of the figure died of meningitis.
They are very happy because the vaccine, if you not take it, it can kill your children.
I want to use this avenue to call on my subjects in Omala local government area, most especially mothers and caregivers, to avail themselves of this opportunity.
We usually have outbreaks around this time of the year, which is the very hot season. And so it becomes appropriate that we should immunize the eligible children.
The campaign seeks to create awareness, especially to people in rural areas, on the need to avail their children the opportunity of being vaccinated against the killer diseases. The vaccination flag-off, which includes that of COVID-19, will be replicated in other local government areas of Kogi State. From Echa Community, Francis Sudojo, NTA News.
In other news, the federal government has inaugurated affordable houses in Enugu State under the National Housing Program Phase 1. Mina Adobe Ukaobasi reports. All right, that report will come in our subsequent bulletin.
16 units of 3-bedroom bungalow, 24 units in condominium. The housing project, awarded May 2017, is set with construction of internal roads and drainages.
This housing estate is an example of the fulfillment of that promise of change. With the support of the Enugu State government, who provided the land, this place, which was once unused land, amounting to no more than idle capital, has come alive.
Our state, as it stands, has become one of the few beneficiaries of this project within the southeastern part of Nigeria.
One of the beneficiaries of the housing scheme, Mr. Christian Chiku, who was coach of Super Eagles in 1994, expressed appreciation to the federal government for the gesture.
I am most delighted to have taken my semi-detached 3-bedroom.
The general public has been offered access to the housing units in a non-discriminatory way by opening the National Housing Portal, while allocations are on first-come, first-served basis. In Enugu, Mina Adobe Kobasi, NTA News.
Talking business now, the International Finance Corporation estimates that 40% of micro, small and medium enterprises in developing countries like Nigeria have an unmet financing as well as information needed to boost their businesses. Based on this, the federal government has reiterated commitment to ensure that new and existing micro, small and medium enterprises across the country get the combined capacity financial funds as well as requisite information needed to support their businesses. This will be through the combined efforts of the Nigerian Television Authority and the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDEN, as the Directors General of the agencies have agreed to collaborate to provide enlightenment and empowerment for MSMEs. The aim is to support government to lift more people out of poverty.
There are quite a number of individuals out there that are yet to benefit from the laudable programs of government, and I think with proper publicity they will be able to buy into it and also benefit, and that in essence is going to better our economy and of course Nigerians.
We want to have a new beginning. We want to even do more because this agency is very critical, because SMEs are the bedrock of the economy.
And for more business reports, let's join Musa Abubakar. Musa, over to you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The Managing Director, Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, Professor Adesoji Adeshukwa, says it is the desire of the federal government to have an export-free zone in each state of the federation. While waiting for states to take advantage of the window, the authority is concluding plans towards making University of Abuja the richest in Africa with the discovery of gold and other solid mineral deposits sitting on more than 10,000 hectares of land on the campus.
So it's going to be a symbiotic relationship between them. The industry the university will feed the industries. The industry will feed the universities, and research will be now utilized, and research will be purpose-based. It's not just going to be researching anything or reading anything or studying anything. And internships and university students having access to knowledge-based productive activities.
And now to capital markets. The Nigerian equities market ended the last trading day for the week in a negative territory. The all-share index shed 0.06% to close at 54,327.3 points. A total turnover of 175.66 million units of securities valued at 5.32 billion naira were traded in 3,563 deals. Market capitalization dropped to 29.59 trillion naira. FBN Holdings, Nigerian Breweries PLC and Guarantee Trust Holding Company were the most traded stocks at the end of the session. That's a quick look at business. Elizabeth, is back to you.